All right, let's first and foremost, let's talk about everything that's been happening in the world this week. That happened this
Mhm.
week. First and foremost, we have to talk about the serious stuff about the Atlanta shooting. Do you have any idea about that?
Well, I've heard only like a couple of things about that because I heard that shooting was because of the racism, I guess, against the Asian, because the Asian hate is like arousing right now in the U.S. and so that happened, I guess. Even though they don't actually relate that to the Asian hate, I don't know, but majority of the victim was Asian. Most of them were Korean and Chinese, and I think there might be a relate. Uh, they might be related to that. I don't know. Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean,
Yes. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know or who isn't in the news or the news loop, basically, in the Atlanta region, there was a shooting, a massacre, really, where a driver, a white guy, literally drove around from one massage parlor to another and shot multiple people. Six out of eight of those victims were
yeah.
Asian, and he was arrested. And guess what? The police arrested him peacefully and everything. And this guy, this guy says that, oh no, it wasn't racially motivated. And guess what? The police officer that arrested those dudes, the police officer literally is saying, oh, this guy is just having a bad day. Like,
A bad
I
day.
mean, when I have a bad
Wow.
day, yeah, bro, when I have a bad day, I literally just stay in my bed all day long doing nothing. But guess what? When this dude has a bad day, he just goes around and kills 8 person. Is that what a bad day consists
I
of?
mean, yeah, you know what I do
And
when
no, it's
I'm
it's
having a bad
funny.
day? I'm just
Yeah, it's
talking all
funny. Yeah,
day.
whenever
Like,
whenever the shooter,
why
yeah,
shoot
exactly.
people? Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's first and foremost, it's outraging when the cop is literally trying to find the humanity side in the shooter. Like, how are you gonna say this guy is having a bad day? Like, no, this isn't a bad day. He literally killed multiple people, most of them who were Asian. You don't do that, and you don't humanize the killer. You know who needs to be humanized? The victims. People who were literally doing their job, feeding for their family, providing for their family, and guess what? Out of nowhere, they just got shot. All because they were
Mm-hmm.
Asian. The police chief literally on the same day said, oh, we are looking into the investigation, but we do not think this is racially motivated. Like, how does that work? We don't think it's racially motivated. Why? Because that guy said, oh, it wasn't racially motivated. So you're just gonna take his word for him. And you know what's the worst thing? Like, just 15 or 16 hours ago, just today, the FBI chief himself came out and say, oh, we're still investigating, but we do not think this incident was racially motivated. Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, they're just justifying the
And
crime.
the
I'm just saying.
yeah, how and there's so much to it. Like, I don't want to point name and shame, like, oh, because the white people are bad. Like, no, of course not. I have tons of white friends, and no, none of them are like this. You can't just generalize the whole group. And the worst thing is, everyone saw this coming. Like, this is the worst fear that came true. For the past 1.5 years, the former president, Donald Trump, he has literally been discriminating against Asian people for, like, in front of millions during his rallies, and all his followers have just been eating that up constantly. Like, when you say in front of millions of people, when you just go out like, oh, this is the Chinese virus, this isn't coronavirus, like, let alone we're just gonna ignore the total failure of you failing to control this in your own country, like even after multiple incident, okay, fine, we're just gonna ignore that. Now you're just shifting the blame to the entire Asian community. Oh, this isn't the coronavirus, this is the China virus, this is the kung flu. Like, bro, when you are literally going to spread hatred against Asians for more than a year, what do you expect? For the past 1 year, hate crimes against Asians have been up to more than 150%. Like literal old people, people who are 80 to 90 years of age, moving in the street, they're just getting pushed. Their life is literally being put in danger just because some crazy dude on the television is just blaming it and calling it Chinese
I know,
virus.
right?
And most of his protesters can't even differentiate between Asians. Bro, it's so stupid. And just because the shooter is white, he was arrested peacefully. The police chief is taking his side, and the FBI chief is saying, oh, it wasn't racially motivated. And you know what's the worst thing?
What?
The other two victim, one of the other two victim was a white woman, and his husband was a black man. So when this shooting happened, thankfully this woman, I think her life is safe now. She was like fatally injured. It wasn't sure if she would survive or not. She was fatally injured, but I think thankfully she is now safe. Her life is now safe. So yes, she will survive. So yes, the white woman who was shot, her husband, who is a black guy, ran for his life. He literally ran for his life, and just when he thought that yes, he saved his life, guess what? The police literally chased after him. They put him in handcuff for 2 hours, interrogated him for 2 hours, all while his wife was wounded in the same establishment. The establishment where he got arrested out of, the black guy where he got arrested out of, he was interrogated for 2 hours because police thought he was the main suspect who just shot everyone else too. Like this is the side we need to pay more attention on. Like, we're not saying, oh, all white people are crazy or
No, of
all
course
cops
not.
are
That's
bad. No, but
generalizing. I mean,
yeah, at one point you have to take account and you have to take credibility and just actually have to admit, like, yes, there is actually something wrong with the system, and no, we should not try to cover up stuff like that. And yes, we should say this as what it is. It is an actual terrorism. It is an actual act of terrorism. Simple as that. This is a massacre, literal shooting, an act of terrorism. But you will not hear a single media outlet or anyone say that, because guess what? The shooter was of white skin.
that's just what funny thing about this case, I guess. And then if you notice, like, the victim, 6 of the victim is age over 50. That's upsetting for me, because the victims are obviously harmless. Like, they won't even pick a fight with you or something like that. Like,
Exactly.
that could
They were just
ever
doing their
make
job,
him
trying to provide for
having
the
a
family.
bad day, as they claim them. And you know what the
Exactly.
surprising
And
thing is?
some people, some people actually associated some of these Asian women as if, oh, they were doing something bad, they were doing prostitution. Like, this is what some people are coming up as. This is the excuse some of the people are coming up as. Bro, it's so annoying. Like, it's so annoying. This and just that. This is like just one of the major incident that happened. The other incident, besides the Atlanta shooting, the other incident, I don't know if you're familiar with it, because it is football related, and it happened into like one of the.
Before that, I have a like surprising fact about this shooting. Like, like most of the victim is from like East Asian people, and surprisingly, in East Asia, where both China and Korea, which have low rates of violent crime and strict bans on guns, they feel saddened about this case, this terrorism that happened, but they claimed that they were not even surprised, because there's a lot of gun violence and racially motivated crimes in the United States. So, I mean, that's the reputation they have about United States. How crazy is that? I mean,
Like exactly, this is literally everyone's worst fear coming true. Like after all those hate crime, everyone was worried like someone someday will cross the line and some poor people will have to lose a life. Like it's not just
yeah.
one, it's literally 8 now. And
They
it's
can't
just
they
yeah,
can't
it's
live
it's
a life
dumb. And
peacefully just because they have a certain color of their skins. Oh, that's
bro,
messed up.
if we're living in 2021 and hate crime just because someone looks different to you, you have a reason to hate them. That
Yeah,
makes no
that makes no
sense.
sense.
Honestly,
That
it
is
just
so ancient.